Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's second Doctor Who review is none other than World War III. So, what is World War III about? Well, essentially, it picks up from the events of Aliens of London. The Slitheen have taken Downing Street, and the people in Downing Street have no clue what's happened. The Doctor manages to break the Slitheen's power by taking off a kind of necklace slash ID card that he was given when he was introduced to the meeting. Meanwhile, elsewhere upstairs, Harriet Jones, MP for Flydale North, and Rose Tyler are in the closet. I repeat, they are in the closet. The Doctor manages to escape the Slitheen and then manages to go into a boardroom upstairs. After catching up with Rose and Harriet Jones, the three find themselves locking themselves in a room that the Doctor knew about previous to this story due to his many inside knowledge. The Doctor locks himself in, saving them from the Slitheen. However, the one thing he doesn't take into consideration is he's just locked them inside in a room. There's no way out. The Doctor then gets on the phone to Mickey and Jackie and begins to discuss the only way to defeat the Slitheen. Now, the only way to do this, of course, is to blow up Downing Street. That's right, they've got to blow up Downing Street. Because at the moment, the Slitheen are all waiting in a room for the nuclear codes. Mickey manages to hack into the nuclear network and divert one of the missiles towards Downing Street. He also manages to send a lot of the missiles offline, meaning that the following missiles will just crash into the sea. Doctor begins to worry and begins to apologise profusely to Jackie about what he's going to do next. He's not quite sure whether he can save Rose in this incident, and then Harriet Jones points out that maybe, just maybe, if they get under the tables when the building goes up, they will be able to survive the blast, especially because the room is lined with all that steel. Before this, the Doctor begins to discuss as much facts as he can think about the Slitheen. First of all, they fart. Second of all, they are big and green. And third of all, they begin to smell of something. And then he realises it's because they smell of calcium. They're calcium-based life forms, so the only way to defeat them is to use anything with pickles. Anything with vinegar. He tells Jackie this because she is being attacked by a police officer who is secretly a Slitheen. Now, going back forward once again, they manage to survive the whole incident, and then Harriet Jones comes out of the building and talks about everyone who had been slaughtered in the massacre that the Slitheen family had ensued. It turns out that at some point in this story, as we find out in a bunch of other spin-off stories, that at some point certain members of the Slitheen family managed to escape this incident, but not many of them. So, Doctor Who, World War III. What did I think of this story? I definitely thought that at least it really well picks up from where it left off. It does a great job at acknowledging all of the things that we need to know about the Slitheen. For starters, that they're calcium beings, that they are allergic to vinegar and this makes them explode. Secondly, it also helps us understand that the Slitheen are a hunting family from Raxacorical Phalabatorius, and they are part of a kind of disowned family back on their planet. They are a crime syndicate that go to every planet that they find in hopes of basically reducing it to nothing but rubble and dust and then selling it on the black market. But overall, let's go back to the story itself. I like the idea that we have multiple Slitheen running around Downing Street. However, the farting does become a little bit silly after a while, and watching this story back a few times, I do start to realise why it worked for its time, but it's definitely one of those stories that most people laugh at now. It's not that the Slitheen aren't menacing, but they have over time become a massive gag. And that is a very problematic thing with them, especially in this story, to try and take them seriously, when we just have them pretty much standing in a room farting and then joking about it all the time. I also feel like one of the most concerning things in this story is, fair enough, they take over Downing Street, but the fact that the guards in Downing Street don't seem to attack the Slitheen is really concerning. Especially as, hold up, you just had a whole episode before this saying that you've got the Prime Minister and the official powers, and now suddenly you realise that everyone in charge is dead and they've been replaced. I mean, I'm not being funny. If the Slitheen done this on the scale of the Zygons, it would be absolutely hilarious. But I do seriously think that the one thing I feel like this story would have benefited from is at least having a kind of shoot-off of some kind, just to kind of reinforce the idea that the soldiers aren't just doing everything they're told by these fake politicians. And for that reason, I give the story a solid 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching, I will see you in the next Doctor Who review. Till then, goodbye, stay beautiful, you beautiful people.